And welcome to another episode of the Political Pulse. I am Joel Wilson, the Digital Guru, here in the Digital Guru studios in sunny Myrtle Beach. And it's a pleasure for me. It's an honor to have Congresswoman and gubernatorial candidate Nancy Mace. How are you doing this fine morning?
We're doing great. We're in the great state of South Carolina. I can't wait to be back home permanently.
That's one of the things I want to ask you is how is it working in the chaos that is Washington, D.C.?
Oh, it's a disaster. Like I have a front row seat to do nothing Congress really, and it's frustrating. We can do so much more as governor. One of the reasons that I'm running for governor is I want to take what I've learned in Congress and then bring it statewide. We've done so much from getting the largest infrastructure grant in the history of South
Yes.
Carolina to helping our workers get trained, to helping survivors of domestic violence or sexual assault, you name it, getting justice for people in South Carolina. Scott Spivey's family, for example, in
Yes.
Myrtle Beach and Horry County. And so like we are just really working hard. And I think that people are recognizing it by the overwhelming amount of support. Thousands and thousands of South Carolinians jumping in to help us and say no more. They see Donald Trump as a law and order president. They want Nancy Mace as a law and order governor, and we are going to bring the heat.
I love that. I love it. Bring the heat. I love that.
Mhm.
I gotta put that on my website. Bring the heat. I know that there's a lot
Yep.
of finger pointing because of the government shutdown, and it's not us. It's the other side that's been doing this, and it must be frustrating for you being up there, realizing that your hands are tied because of the Democrats.
Well, right. I mean, you look at the money that they want to reopen the government. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, either for illegal aliens before they will reopen the government. They want millions of dollars for insects in Africa, locusts in
I'm
Africa.
sorry,
They'd
what was
rather
that?
invest money in insects in Africa than pay our troops. That is how lunatic the left has become, and all because Chuck Schumer is afraid of AOC. At the end of the day, Chuck Schumer is going to have his shirt handed to him in 2028 in the primary. AOC is either going to be the Democrat nominee for president or for Senate in New York, one of the two. They're about to elect a commie in New York City. It's not looking good for the Democrat Party right now.
No, and like I said, I do a political podcast every week, and it's like, what are we going to talk about? The Democrats are going to do something stupid. Trump's going to say something that's great. It's going to piss them off. And between that, I've got stuff that I could talk about all week long. You know what? So
hmm No, it's crazy, and then it distracts from the real problems that we have. We've had Republicans and Democrats alike spend our country into oblivion. No one's willing to take responsibility for it. We're $37 trillion in debt because of both sides, because of both parties. They're a uniparty on spending. But Trump is saying no more, and I'm ready for the reduction in force. So the firings, I want to see hundreds of thousands of federal employees fired who aren't coming in to do their work. You and I, we got to show up to work. The teacher has to show up, the cop has to show up, the firefighters, the first responders, they got to go to work. Federal government employees who are paid a pretty penny, by the way, if they're not showing up to work, they got to go. They got to get fired, go back to the private sector where you're going to make less and work harder. That's what needs to happen. I think once the firings start happening, I think Democrats will come back to the table real fast.
I think they'll come back to the table real fast, is right. One thing that I want to talk to you about, and I've had my listeners, I've got about 150,000 listeners, and I've got a bunch of texts, and the majority of them over the last couple of weeks. And I asked both the Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette and I asked Attorney General Alan Wilson this, and it is the Logan Frederico. I don't even know what to call it, a debacle, how somebody like that can be on the streets after everything had happened. And I would love to have your take on that if you don't mind.
Well, unfortunately, the Attorney General Alan Wilson butchered this case. This was a murder, an assassination of a young, blonde, beautiful woman. I've met with her father recently, and deeply tragic. What, 40 arrests, 29
Yes.
felonies, and what the AG did was jeopardize the state's ability to pursue the death penalty in this case, which was what the family wants. And so I wrote a letter to Pam Bondi at DOJ, who has not responded, by the way. And my understanding is that Pam Bondi and the DOJ don't want to get involved in this case. But you have an AG who's besties with Pam Bondi, by the way. She allegedly came down and is went to a fundraiser for him. So you know how crooked and corrupt that situation is. But he put into jeopardy Logan Federico's case for the death penalty because now the defense is going to go back to the state and say that the AG got ahead of his skis. He demanded the death penalty before the evidence was back from the lab, which you're not allowed to do as the state's top
Right.
prosecutor. I can advocate for the death penalty because I'm not prosecuting the case. You can do the same thing. The family can. And then this is like, but this isn't the first time. I mean, we're talking about a guy, the AG, who let off 92.5% of pedophile cases in Dorchester County, whom I have FOIA'd for every county, by the way, and he won't respond to our FOIA because the information of him letting off pedos is probably so highly embarrassing. It is going to ruin his gubernatorial campaign. I don't know why a guy would protect pedos. I don't know why a guy would jeopardize a death penalty case. I don't know why a guy whom I have been hammering the Scott Spivey case, he shut the case down in August, by the way, 1 hour before I got on the stage in my first rally in Myrtle Beach. The attorney general releases a press release saying, case closed, Scott Spivey, we're not investigating. 1 hour
Mhm.
before I show up in Horry County. How political did he do that? Under the public pressure of the Justice for Scott Spivey momentum that Horry County and everybody across the state has jumped into, thank
Yeah.
you. Because of that public pressure on social media, he's now reopening the case and going
I
to
saw that.
investigate it. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I think he's going to botch that too. And oh, by the way, the AG is now being investigated for really horrible alleged financial grievances and other things that I won't go into. And they're gonna be public hearings in the state Senate in front of the Oversight Committee in a couple weeks on November 5th. We're gonna be there on the front row. We're gonna hold a press conference because this guy needs to be ousted from office. He does not need to be running for governor. The state legislature needs to impeach him for what he has done to our state. Everything's up. He won't prosecute a sexual assaults. He's never prosecuted a death penalty case. Like you've been in office for 15 years as the state's top prosecutor, and you have never prosecuted a death penalty case. He just gave an illegal alien 1 year, the bare minimum for a hit and run against the USC student. Guy
Yes.
was here illegally, fled the scene, and the AG gives the illegal alien the bare minimum. Are you kidding me? Like I can't even with these people anymore. I'm done with it. Trump is the law and order president, and the hammer's going to drop when I'm governor because I will be the law and order governor.
I can see the frustration in your face right there just talking about. But and let me ask you a question, and I've asked them too. Judicial reform in South Carolina, do you think it should be where the governor appoints the judges and then the Senate and the House okays or yeah.
There's a couple. So we're the only one of two states, and I know the Lieutenant Governor Pamela Abbott has copy and pasted my plan for judicial reform. Everybody has, which is great for the state. I don't mind that they're copying our plan, but we're only one of two states in the country that allows lawyer legislators, that allows the state legislature to elect judges. It's become a very corrupt process.
Yes,
Everybody makes
yes.
money. And except for the little guy, right? They're all corrupt. It's a very corrupt process. There's no trials, no jail time. Everything gets pled down because everybody's making money. Either the AG and the prosecutors are getting donations from attorneys who have cases before them, or um, the attorneys are making money because their clients don't go to jail. They can do a quote plea deal. In my case, in my investigation that I was very open about in February that I came public with because nothing was happening, the lead attorney for a while for one of the alleged predators literally threw the fundraiser for the prosecutor in my case, like headlined the fundraiser for her, for Scarlett Wilson. And I just can't, like, the system is so corrupt. But it would be better if the governor appointed the judges, and then you could have a hybrid. Missouri does this. You could have a hybrid approach where the governor has the power to appoint, but then the people have the power to vote when it's time for re-election. So you can have some kind of a hybrid. What we have to do, regardless of how it's done, either public elections or the governor appoints them, is we got to get it out of the hands of the legislature. It may not ever happen because they will never vote to take power away from themselves. We
Yes.
have to have a governor who will publicly shame them, embarrass them, show the corruption of each individual legislator and what's happening in order for that system to change. Just like I've shamed the universities that allow men and women's spaces, allow men and women's locker rooms, showers, and dormitories. We've got to have someone who's going to shame the pedophile protector. Like, you got to ask yourself, why would an attorney general protect so many pedophiles? Like, is he one? Like, I question it. Why is he allowing these pedophiles off the hook? So that kind of thing, we have to expose it in order to fix it. And there's nobody in this race who will do that. We had a sanctuary sheriff in South Carolina for the last 4 years. Why is that? Why didn't a single statewide elected official call out Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano, who was letting out hundreds of illegals who are murderers, rapists, and pedophiles? Why was I the only one? Why did nobody get behind me when I came out with this information from a whistleblower? No one did. And so that's the kind of governor we're going to be. We will be law and order, just like Trump.
Do you know where we can find a governor like that?
I haven't found one yet, but I can promise you we will be that person. We will work around the clock. We never sleep. I work 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I eat and breathe South Carolina.
I love that. I know we had talked briefly off the air, and I'm going to ask you again,
Mm.
balancing between Congresswoman, your life, living in the chaos that is Washington, D.C. How the hell do you balance all of that?
I'll
Very
rest.
carefully.
I'll rest when I'm dead. I just I work nonstop and I go to bed late and I get up very early and I just do everything I can to make the state that much better each day.
I love it. Now, we're going to close this. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked
Mhm.
everyone else, and that is that my listeners, and I've seen this because everyone claims to be a Trump conservative. They all
Mhm.
shown pictures of themselves next to Donald Trump. And there's a little apathy saying, well, either it's going to be Nancy Mace or Alan Wilson or Pamela Abbott. Whoever wins, I'll be happy because it's going to be a Trump conservative in Columbia. What sets you apart from the others? So my listeners can say, hey, you know what? That's what I want.
Well, I mean, we're actually we're an OG. Like I worked for Trump in 2015. Nobody can say that. They're all lying about my record and their own. I am honest. I have integrity. I'm trustworthy, and I will always tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. You're always going to get that integrity from me. The other thing that we have done to set us apart is that we have put our plan for prosperity for South Carolina, whether we're talking about the cost of living, inflation, roads and bridges, the energy crisis we have, illegal immigration, crime, education, you name it. We have put forth a plan for South Carolina. We did that on day one. No one else in the race has done that. No one else in the race has as strong a relationship with the president, regardless of how he endorses or not. We are very, very close with the president and speak with him frequently. And what I want to do is be Trump in high heels, and I've done that so far and implement his plans. I've done that in Congress, and we'll do that as governor. No one else has the courage to do what we are doing today. We've been doing it, and that's why people are overwhelmingly with our campaign, and I'm deeply humbled by it. I want everybody on board. So please follow us online on social media at Nancy Mace, and then come on out to our website, nancymace.org, and just chip in $1 because I'm telling the president how many people are supporting us. And you have your name on your list. He is getting a head count. This is how many people in South Carolina are supporting our campaign. Compared to 200 or 300 people of my opponents, we have thousands and thousands of South Carolinians. So just come on over, chip in $1, put your name on the list because I am personally telling Trump how many people are supporting our campaign in South Carolina.
I love that. And I saw the numbers where you've got thousands of people who are donating. That's a grassroots swell
It's
that you're
even
looking
more
at.
than that now. I can't even, October is going to be, it's crazy right now. It's amazing and it's deeply humbling.
Well, I will definitely have to have you on again if you'd like to. I want you to get in here to the studio. When you're in Horry County, come on into the studio and you can sit right here in the hot seat
We're happy
and I
to.
can talk to you.
We're happy to anytime. Thank you so much and God bless.
Yes, this is Joel Wilson. I will see you at the next T-Box.